Join me in this heartwarming journey that will restore your faith in human connection. In the bustling streets of South Dallas, 14-year-old Malik, struggling to help his single mom make ends meet, finds a high-end smartphone belonging to Congresswoman Jasmine Crokett. Despite desperately needing money, he chooses honesty and embarks on a mission to return it. What begins as a simple act of integrity turns into a life-changing encounter when Jasmine discovers Malik's extraordinary circumstances and hidden talents. Their unexpected connection bridges worlds that rarely intersect, proving how one small decision can alter the course of a life forever. Where are you watching me from? Let me know in the comments below. The January wind cuts through Malik Johnson's thin jacket as he rushes to finish his paper route before school. At 14, he's already shouldering adult responsibilities in South Dallas, helping his mother keep their small apartment after his father's death last year. The pre-dawn darkness shrouds the streets as he tosses the last newspaper onto a porch. Almost done, he mutters, his breath visible in the cold air. His worn sneakers splash through puddles left by overnight rain as he heads toward the bus stop. School starts in an hour, and he can't afford another tardy slip. That's when he spots something gleaming beneath a bench near the convention center. A smartphone, not just any phone, but the latest model with a sleek protective case. Malik picks it up, surprised to find it still powered on, but locked. The wallpaper shows a professional headshot of a woman he vaguely recognizes from the news. His heart pounds as he weighs his options. The pawn shop would give him enough for this phone to cover the electricity bill his mother has been worrying about all week. Maybe even enough for the asthma medication his little sister needs. Just finders keepers, whispers a voice in his head. But then the screen lights up with incoming notifications. Urgent messages about a scheduled speech, missed calls from staffers, and calendar alerts about important meetings. Malik's thumb hovers over the phone. The right thing and the needed thing rarely align, so perfectly in opposition. He slips the device into his pocket, not yet decided, and continues towards school, the weight of it feeling much heavier than its actual ounces. His mother's voice echoes in his mind. Your character is what you do when no one's watching. But character doesn't pay bills or buy medicine. Still, as he boards the bus, something gnaws at him. The owner of this phone is clearly someone important, someone whose day might be completely derailed without it. Excuse me, a notification pops up on the screen. This is Congresswoman Crockett's phone. If found, please call this number for a reward. By afternoon, Malik sits in the school library during his free period, the phone burning a hole in his backpack. After research on the library computer, he now knows exactly who Jasmine Crokett is, a congresswoman known for fighting for communities like his. The reward mentioned in the notification could be substantial, but calling means explaining how he found it, facing questions, possibly even suspicion. Whatcha looking at so serious? Deshaun, his best friend since kindergarten, slides into the chair beside him. Malik hesitates before showing him the phone. Found it this morning. It belongs to that congresswoman, the one who's always talking about South Dallas. Deshaun whistles low. Man, you could get good money for that. My cousin knows a place. I'm not selling it, Malik interrupts, surprised by his own conviction. Your mom's behind on rent again, right? And Tiana needs that prescription. Deshaun's voice trails off, the practical reality hanging between them. The school counselor, Ms. Porter, approaches their table. Everything okay, boys? She's always had a soft spot for Malik, especially since his father's passing. Something about her concerned expression breaks Malik's indecision. He shows her the phone and explains his dilemma. That's quite a test of character, she says quietly. What do you think your dad would tell you to do? The question hits Malik like a physical blow. His father had been a maintenance worker at the community center, known for returning lost wallets and helping neighbors without expecting anything in return. The memory feels like both a comfort and an accusation. After school, Malik stands at the bus stop, finally dialing the contact number from the notification. A harried-sounding assistant answers. I found Congresswoman Crockett's phone, Malik explains. I can bring it somewhere. Well, thank God. The relief in the woman's voice is palpable. We've been searching everywhere. Where are you now? Malik gives his location, and the assistant tells him to wait. someone will come to him. 30 minutes later, a sleek car pulls up. A young woman steps out, introduces herself as Alicia, Crockett's aide. She reaches for the phone, then pauses, studying Malik. "You could have sold this, she says. "I thought about it," Malik admits honestly. "The congresswoman wants to thank you personally. Would you be willing to meet her tomorrow?" Malik thinks of the mountain of homework waiting, his paper route, his responsibilities at home. But curiosity wins out. "Yes," he says simply. As Alicia drives away with the phone, Malik stands at the bus stop, wondering if he's just made a terrible mistake. The electricity bill remains unpaid, and he's returning home empty-handed. The next afternoon, Malik anxiously approaches the address Alicia provided, a community center in his neighborhood where Congresswoman Crockett is holding a constituent meeting. His mother was skeptical about the invitation, but gave permission after calling the office to verify. Inside, the center buzzes with activity. Alicia spots him and waves him over to a small side office where Jasmine Crockett is reviewing documents. She looks up when he enters, her expression warming. "You must be Malik. Thank you for returning my phone." Her handshake is firm, her smile genuine. "That phone contained crucial information I needed for today's Housing Committee meeting." "It was no big deal," Malik mumbles, suddenly shy. "It was a very big deal to me," she counters. "Alicia mentioned you hesitated when she asked why you didn't sell it. Most people wouldn't have been so honest." Something in her direct gaze makes Malik feel seen in a way that's both uncomfortable and affirming. When she asks about school and his interests, the conversation flows more easily than he expected. "I like writing," he admits, "and math, but mostly writing." "Really? What do you write about?" "Our neighborhood, how things could be better." He hesitates. "My dad used to say if you want change, you have to tell the story of why it matters." Jasmine's expression shifts subtly. "Your dad sounds wise. Is he a writer too?" "He passed away last year. Heart attack." The room falls silent. Then, unexpectedly, Jasmine shares that she lost her father too, early in her career. The shared experience creates a momentary bridge between their worlds. "Malik, I'd like to offer you a reward for returning my phone." "You don't have to. I want to." She interrupts gently, sliding an envelope across the desk. "But I have something else in mind too. Have you heard of our office's youth leadership program?" Before Malik can process this turn of events, his phone rings. His mother panicked. Tiana's asthma has flared up severely. She's being taken to the emergency room. The ambulance is too expensive, so their neighbor is driving them. Jasmine overhears, concern crossing her face. "What hospital? I can take you there right now." The drive to the hospital is a blur. When they arrive, Jasmine doesn't simply drop him off. She comes inside, making calls that somehow get Tiana immediate attention. As Malik stands beside his exhausted mother, watching his sister receive treatment, he realizes the congresswoman is witnessing firsthand the reality his family lives daily. The healthcare struggles, the financial anxieties, the impossible choices. "Your daughter will be fine," Jasmine assures his mother, before turning to Malik. "And we should talk more about that program when things settle down." 2 weeks after the hospital incident, Malik sits nervously in the community center after school. He's been accepted into the youth leadership program that Congresswoman Crockett mentioned, a 6-month initiative where students learn about government, develop public speaking skills, and create community action projects. Today is their first meeting, and Malik feels completely out of place. Most participants come from better schools across the district, with confident voices and polished appearances. His second-hand clothes and quiet demeanor make him feel invisible as the group introduces themselves. Next, Malik Johnson, the program coordinator, announces. He stands reluctantly. "I'm Malik. I'm from South Dallas. I don't really know why I'm here." From the doorway, Jasmine Crockett's voice interjects. "Malik is here because he showed exceptional character in a difficult situation. Sometimes leadership isn't about being the loudest voice, but making the right choice when no one's watching." Her unexpected appearance and words warm Malik's face, both embarrassed and proud. After welcoming the group, she pulls him aside. "How's your sister doing?" "Better, thanks. That specialist you recommended helped a lot." He hesitates. The reward money paid our electricity bill and got her medication. My mom cried when I gave it to her. Jasmine nods, then hands him a notebook. I heard you like writing. This program will challenge you, Malik. There will be days you'll want to quit. But your voice matters, especially your voice. Over the following weeks, Malik struggles to balance the program with his paper route and schoolwork. Some nights, he falls asleep at the kitchen table, exhausted. But something is changing within him. The program teaches him to articulate the issues affecting his neighborhood. The food deserts, inadequate public transportation, underfunded schools. Problems he's lived with but never had the vocabulary to name. For their mid-program project, each student must research a community issue and present potential solutions. Malik chooses healthcare access, thinking of Tiana's asthma crisis. He interviews neighbors, researches statistics, and crafts a presentation that draws directly from his family's experience. The night before his presentation, doubt overwhelms him. His mother finds him sitting on their apartment steps, the project notes scattered beside him. "What's wrong, baby?" she asks, settling next to him. "I can't do this. These other kids, they're smart, Mom. They know how to talk right. I'll embarrass myself." His mother takes his hands in hers. "Your father never finished high school, but he was the wisest man I knew. He'd tell you that your story has power because it's real. Those other kids might have fancy words, but you have truth." The next day, Malik steps before the group, heart hammering. He looks down at his notes, then sets them aside. Instead, he speaks from his heart about Tiana's asthma attack, about neighbors rationing medications, about the elderly woman downstairs who takes the bus 3 hours each way for diabetes care. When he finishes, the room is silent. Then Congresswoman Crockett, who had slipped in during his presentation, begins to applaud. Others join, and Malik sees something he never expected in their eyes: respect. The youth leadership program culminates in a public forum at City Hall, where students present their community action proposals to local officials, including Congresswoman Crockett. The stakes are high. The top 3 proposals will receive funding for implementation. Malik, now more confident but still battling nerves, waits his turn as polished presentations unfold before him. His proposal has evolved from his initial healthcare access project into a comprehensive neighborhood health initiative. Mobile clinics staffed by medical students, a prescription assistance program, and health education workshops at local schools. When his name is called, he approaches the podium. The audience blurs before him, except for 3 distinct figures: his mother and Tiana sitting near the back, and Congresswoman Crockett in the front row. He takes a deep breath and begins. "My name is Malik Johnson. 6 months ago, I found a phone that changed my life." He makes eye contact with Jasmine, not because of what I gained, but because of what I learned. I learned that some people have power to make real change, while others struggle just to get through each day. His voice strengthens as he outlines the healthcare disparities in South Dallas, weaving in personal stories with the statistics he's meticulously gathered. "My sister nearly died because we couldn't afford an inhaler that cost pennies to produce. My neighbor, Mr. Washington, lost his sight to untreated diabetes because he couldn't miss work for appointments. These aren't just sad stories, they're policy failures." The room falls completely silent as he continues, his formerly hesitant voice now ringing with conviction. When he finishes outlining his proposal, unexpected tears well in his eyes. "I used to think people like us were invisible, that our problems didn't matter to those in power. But now I understand that the gap between policy and real life exists because our stories aren't being told by the people who live them." As he concludes, the applause is immediate and overwhelming. Jasmine Crockett rises to her feet, visibly moved. When the voting concludes, Malik's proposal ranks second, guaranteeing implementation funding. Afterward, in the hallway, Congresswoman Crockett approaches him, her own eyes suspiciously bright. "You know what I was doing the day you found my phone?" she asked quietly. "Drafting a healthcare accessibility bill that's been stalled in committee for months. Your presentation today, your story, that's exactly what's been missing from the conversation." She gestures to several people waiting nearby, her staff, along with representatives from the mayor's office and a healthcare foundation. "Malik, would you be willing to speak at the congressional hearing next month?" Your testimony could help push this legislation forward. Sometimes it takes a voice like yours, authentic, passionate, rooted in lived experience, to cut through the noise and make people listen. For the first time, Malik sees himself not as a recipient of help, but as someone with the power to create change. The scared boy who found a phone 6 months ago now stands tall, ready to amplify not just his own voice, but the voices of his entire community. The congressional hearing in Washington, D.C. marks Malik's first time leaving Texas. As he sits before the Health Services Committee, his testimony about South Dallas's healthcare challenges leaves a profound impact. The personal stories he shares, his sister's asthma crisis, his elderly neighbors choosing between medication and food, put human faces to statistics that legislators often gloss over. Jasmine Crokett watches proudly from her seat on the committee. When it's her turn to question Malik, she asks simply, "What would you tell policymakers who say these programs are too expensive to implement?" Malik leans toward the microphone. "I'd say look at the cost of doing nothing. My father died at 42 because preventative care wasn't accessible. What's the economic impact of children losing parents? Of preventable hospitalizations? Of dreams deferred because survival takes all your energy?" His words resonate across party lines, leading to increased support for the healthcare bill that eventually passes with bipartisan backing. Back in Dallas, Malik's Community Health Initiative launches with the funding from the Youth Leadership Program, supplemented by additional grants secured through the connections he's made. The first mobile clinic arrives in his neighborhood on a bright spring morning. As residents line up for free screenings and consultations, Malik stands beside his mother and sister, watching a transformation that began with a simple act of honesty. "Your father would be so proud," his mother whispers, squeezing his hand. Later that afternoon, Congresswoman Crockett visits the clinic. She finds Malik helping an elderly man fill out forms, his patience and empathy evident in every interaction. "You've started something important here," she tells him as they walk through the busy clinic. "This isn't just about healthcare, it's about dignity, about being seen." Malik nods, thinking of his journey over the past year. "Finding your phone could have been just a moment," he reflects. "But you made it into an opportunity." "No," Jasmine corrects him gently. "You did that. You chose honesty when it would have been easier not to. You chose to use your voice when staying silent was more comfortable. Those choices made all of this possible." As the sun sets over South Dallas, casting golden light through the clinic windows, Malik realizes that returning a lost phone didn't just change his life. It has begun to change his entire community. The reward wasn't just the money that helped his family through a crisis, but the discovery of his own power to create meaningful change. 3 years later, Malik stands before a packed auditorium at Southern Methodist University. At 17, he's now a high school senior preparing to study public health policy on a full scholarship. Tonight, he's introducing Congresswoman Jasmine Crokett at a community forum on healthcare reform, a bill she championed that expanded on the initial legislation his testimony helped pass. Before I introduce our speaker, Malik addresses the crowd. "I want to share how our paths crossed." He tells the story of finding her phone that cold January morning, the decision that seemed small at the time, but altered his trajectory completely. The audience listens intently, moved by the journey from paperboy to policy advocate. "Sometimes the most significant moments in our lives don't announce themselves," he continues. "They appear as ordinary choices, to be honest, to speak up, to believe your story matters." Tiana, now 13 and managing her asthma effectively thanks to the expanded children's health program, sits proudly in the front row beside their mother. Behind them are familiar faces from their neighborhood, people whose lives have improved through the mobile clinic program that now serves 5 districts across Dallas. When Jasmine takes the stage, she embraces Malik with genuine affection. "This young man," she tells the audience, "remind me daily why I entered public service. He also taught me something profound, that sometimes the people most affected by policy are the ones least consulted in creating it." She announces the expansion of the Youth Leadership Program, now named the Malik Johnson Youth Advocacy Initiative, which will provide mentorship and opportunities for teens across Texas to engage with community solutions. Later, as they share a quiet moment backstage, Jasmine hands Malik a small package. "What's this?" he asks, unwrapping a brand new phone, the same model as the one he found years ago. "Your graduation present. Look at the wallpaper." He turns it on to find a photo of himself testifying before Congress, his expression determined and passionate. "You kept the picture of me on your phone all this time?" he asks, surprised. "It reminds me why this work matters," she replies simply. "When people ask me if one person can really make a difference, I tell them about a 14-year-old boy who found a phone and changed a community." As they walk out together to join the reception, Malik realizes that sometimes the most powerful acts of leadership aren't grand gestures, but small moments of integrity that ripple outward in ways we can never predict. His father would have called it character. Malik now understands it as the foundation upon which everything else is built. This story reminds us that even in our most vulnerable moments, we hold the power to make choices that echo far beyond what we can see. Malik's simple act of honesty opened doors he never imagined possible, proving that our circumstances don't define our potential for impact. His journey shows us that authentic voices, especially those speaking from lived experience, have unique power to create meaningful change in our communities. Which part of Malik's story touched you most deeply? Share in the comments below and subscribe to hear more stories that celebrate the extraordinary impact of ordinary integrity.